Hello everybody, this is Marya here on YouTube. Today I have my book recommendations for the month of October and it's spooky season. Finally, I have been waiting for this season for the entire year. October is one of my favorite months. It's Halloween the entire month. So you guys are probably gonna be getting a lot more videos of me, hopefully in scary makeup, but we'll see if I'm actually able to do so. But anyway, today I have book recommendations for all of you guys, and these are books that I have read or books that I actually want to read. And I'm also gonna put up my TBR next week, so you guys come again, so you guys can come again here, so you guys can check out my TBR for this month. But let's start off with the first book, and this is one of my favorite books, and I just love this story, and this is Dracula by Bram Stoker. If you guys don't know Dracula, you have been living under a rock, and if you guys haven't read this book, again, you have been living under a rock. This is the type of book that brings vampires to actually being scary instead of being the Twilight vampires, you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with Twilight. I know a lot of people loved it. I never read it. The movie sucked, but that's another thing. But it's not, you know, the heartthrob, the guy you want to give your life up for vampires. It's an actual scary vampire. It's one of my favorite stories. I don't really like the ending of the book, but we can move on from that because the actual story itself, it's pretty awesome. So the next book that I have for you, we all know October is about spookiness and being afraid for your life and magic. Whether it's dark magic or white magic, whatever you want to call it. The fact is, there is magic involved in October. So I want to give you a little bit of lighthearted reading with a lot of information. So it's kind of a lighthearted story, but very packed full of things. And that is Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares, both of them by Laini Taylor. This is a duology that I am in love with. So the first book is Strange the Dreamer. This is basically about a city that disappeared, but it's actually being guarded by something God spawns. I'm just gonna say that. And it's very, very, very amazing. Very well written. The writing style, it's so freaking beautiful. There's so many new words I've learned from like half the book. The first 100 pages that I had read, I already had like 2 pages full of new words. And I loved it because of it. The story itself is beautiful. The characters are incredible. I love them. I am so excited to finally get to Muse of Nightmares, which is the second book, which I haven't started yet, but I will. And I really, really want to recommend both of these books for you guys. Moving on to an author everyone loves, which I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I like the stories themselves, but I don't really like, I don't know if it's really the writing style or how it develops. But this is an author that has recently come out with another book, which everyone says is very, very good, so I'll have to give that a try. But this is Ruth Ware. And the first book that I have here is The Woman in Cabin 10, and then The Lying Game. Both of them, they're good books. I don't know, there's something that I haven't quite placed yet that I don't like. Nonetheless, the stories are actually good. You might actually like the author, so give them a try. Any of both of these books you might like, so I thought I would recommend them to you. They're not my personal favorite, but you guys might like them. So I have another author who I love and I will give up my life for, and I saw one of his interviews a few days ago that he was talking about his grandkids not really paying attention to him, and everybody in the comments said, if Stephen King was my grandfather, I will be with him 24/7, and they're right. So I have 3 books. One of them is a reread, one of them is a classic for me, and one of them is the one that I could not have October without, and that is Carrie. It's such a small book. You can read it in an afternoon. It's one of my favorite books. I always read it every Halloween. I thought that was so I got scared out of my life. I always read it every Halloween because it's one of my favorite stories. Carrie, I don't know. I love her. She's a psycho, but I love her. What can I say? Another one that I have here is Salem's Lot. It's a little cracked. I've read this bad boy a few times. It's a little crack. I love it. The story itself is so good. Stephen King's writing will make you fear for your life even though you're reading just a book. So, I'm just saying. You guys gotta be careful, but this is one of my favorites. And a recent one that I recently got and that I actually saw the movie before reading the book, which was a bad idea, but whatever. This is Gerald's Game. This book will keep you on your toes, okay? It's just insane. It's so freaking good. You guys need to read this book right now because you're gonna fall on your ass out of how incredible it is. You need to read it. I'm just saying. I got a series for all of you guys, and and this is the series that got me started with reading and booktube, actually, and it's one of my favorites. I am so excited because the author recently said she's gonna prolong this series. It's gonna make it bigger than just a trilogy, and that is The Hunger Games. So you have The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. I love these books. These were the first books that I read in 3 days. One of them, each one took a full day of reading. I didn't get out of my house. I was living in London and I was like, I don't care. I need to read this and finish it. I loved it. I definitely loved it. You guys are... everyone loves Hunger Games, whether it is the movie or the books. They are amazing. You guys need to read them. These are definitely gonna be a reread for this year. I don't know if in October or later on, but I'm just excited. And finally, but not least, I have my favorite mystery, crime, thriller, suspense author. She is one of my favorites. She is one that I discovered this year and I am in love with, and that is Megan Mirren. You guys, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 5, maybe 6 of her books, and they are my favorites all the freaking time. Every single time I read one of her books, I am in love with. So the first 2 that I have that I am obsessed over are All the Missing Girls, which is my actual first favorite, and then The Perfect Stranger. Both of them are incredible. The stories themselves will take you on a ride. All the Missing Girls, it's basically about girls that have been disappearing in this town that I forget what it's called. Also, the writing style on this book is very different to what it normally is. So I'm very happy with this book. I definitely recommend it to you guys. Then I have The Perfect Stranger. I told you guys this is amazing. Basically, I don't know how to describe it. It's about people disappearing, but then people not being themselves, pretty much. It's very good. I love it. It's one of my favorite reads of last year. And then 2 new books that I actually got 2 months ago when I was in New York with Caitlin. Fragments of the Lost and Safest Lies. Both of them are amazing. Fragments of the Lost took me on a ride because I didn't expect that plot twist. It was amazing. It was incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better book. And then The Safest Lies has been one of my favorites as well. This is kind of about a family and keeping it together and just what you will do to survive and to make and to help your parents survive as well. I loved it because of that. And then the last one, which is actually going to be on my TBR, is Come Find Me. Also The Last House Guest, but I actually don't have the physical book for that one. But those are just a few of the recommendations I have for you guys for this month of October. I'm very excited about this month. I'm very excited. I'm finally back on YouTube, so your girl's happy.